Good morning. Hi. Welcome to the Eva Christie Hand Knitting Podcast. It is the 2nd of May. It's moody in the UK and it's currently sort of sunny outside. We've had quite a week weather-wise. We had 4 days where it snowed. On Thursday, which is my boyfriend's birthday, we had proper thick heavy snow that was lying all around, and it's the first time in his 32 years that it's actually ever snowed on his birthday, so that was quite unusual. Even for Scotland, that's quite unusual. Hello and welcome to any new viewers that might have found the podcast and be tuning in. Welcome back to all my lovely subscribers. You're all welcome here. It's just a delight to talk with you, and we have quite a lot to be getting through today. As you can see, I'm not quite in my normal surroundings. I've had to kind of go elsewhere to film. Josh is off on holiday this week and the cats are up and about and it's just happening. So the lighting I don't think is as good here, but we'll just have to bear with it and do what we can, so please bear with me. So we'll start off with where to find me. You can find me on Ravelry at Pan Within. I'm not very active on Ravelry, but really I'm going to have to get my finger out now, because just before I've started to record my podcast today, I've noticed that I have 41 subscribers, which is just absolutely amazing. And I really feel that now I have to do really what the other podcasters are doing and set up a proper group within Ravelry and have some chatter threads and things going on there and start preparing for a first knit along. If you've got any ideas on what sort of thing that you would like to do as a knit along, I've got a few of my own, but please, you know, within the next few days please check back in. With Josh being off on holiday, I'm obviously trying to spend a bit of time with him, and we're planning to head to Glasgow tomorrow, so I might be a little bit delayed in getting all that sorted and set up, but I will create a group, and you'll have to be a member of that to be able to be eligible to take part in any sort of giveaways and cals and such. So when that's live, that will definitely be live by next week, I will get back in touch and let you guys know again where to find it. So I'll get my profile and things all properly sorted as well. So that's Pan Within on Ravelry. You can find me as Eva Christie Hand Knitting on Facebook and on Tumblr. Facebook's the one that I do tend to religiously update, so that's always the best place to find out what is going on. I am at Eva Knits on Twitter, and I'm trying to keep that as up to date as possible as well, but you know, social media can kind of take over and seriously eat into your knitting time, so I am trying to get a bit more streamlined and a bit more professional about it all, and try and totally get on that time management, so thanks for your support with that. Right, yes, I just kind of briefly mentioned there about subscribers. We're steadily getting towards the 100 mark, so I'm going to organise a first giveaway when we get to that point, and David from Moulin Yarns has very kindly donated a skein of his UK hand-dyed yarn to go towards the prize. Now I'm going to put some vintage buttons and things in as well, and there might be more bits and pieces as we get a bit closer to that 100. I'm not quite 100% sure how I'm going to work on this yet, but I'm hoping the light's well enough. This is a skein of Moulin Yarns. David is a member of the East Central Scotland Guild of Weavers, Spinners and Dyers. I had to think about that there. I do stock some of his hand spun from time to time as well, and he does some botanical dyes as well. This isn't, but the colours are just gorgeous. This is a hank of double knitting weight. It's 100% baby alpaca yarn, and there's 200 metres to the 100 grams, so it's so lovely and soft. And thank you, David of Moulin Yarns, for donating this to us. If you have your own small knitting related business, fibre related business, and would like to donate any gifts for giveaways, please bring them on. You can contact me through any of the other methods I've already given. Oh, and you can also contact me on evachristiehandknitting@gmail.com. Almost forgot that one. I don't get paid for this, it's just something that's nice to do. Obviously my own hand's going into my own pocket towards shipping costs and things as well, because you don't have to just be a UK resident to take part in the giveaways. And from what the other podcasters are saying, the prices are getting really quite scary on that. So it's something that I want to be able to do. I'm not begging for donations or anything here, but there's something that you would like to donate or you would like to be featured in, I'm just putting it out there that you can get in touch with me. Now, I've done a little bit of rehoming this week. I got this ball of opal sock yarn. I love opal sock yarns. This one is from Sweet and Spicy, series 3 they're on now. It's called Mixed Berries. Look at the colours in that, look at those lovely turquoisey, sea green teals and pinks. I'm not really a pink person, but this is lovely, and I hadn't even seen the label before I saw the actual colourway and thought, strawberries, strawberry inspired. So they just seem to hit the nail on the head with this, so that's fab, so I've got that. And I've rehomed one other item as well. Yeah, I wasn't expecting this. I was at the Aberfeldy Arts and Crafts Market for the first time yesterday, and it was just delightful. My customers are an absolute delight. The stall holders are fantastic, and it's not craft fair, it's in sort of craft fair, it's proper sort of high level artisans. They're the best sort. Just fantastic company to be in. And Shona, who's one of the organisers, is also an artisan, and this is where I think the difference comes in, that it's actually run by artisans as well, so they totally get it, they know what's going on. And Shona is a knitter and does other crafty things as well, and she was eyeing up one of the kits that I had with me, my Rest and Be Thankful mittens, and I had been eyeing up the gorgeous Harris tweed items that she had on her stall. For years and years I've been sort of salivating over these beautiful Harris tweed gifts and things, and couldn't really ever sort of justify it to myself. There was one that I never totally fell in love with and thought, oh, I have to have that. And then I saw it Shona's, and they're just so beautifully made and very reasonably priced, and I thought this is what I need to do. So I didn't buy this, we had a little swap, which is lovely, and I need to show this to you. This is probably going to be filled with DPNs and notions and things. Is the camera picking up the colours in this? A lovely little pouch, a lovely little button here, and it's just beautifully made. It's lined. Let's see the fabric. It's ill of lumps. And a lovely little tag. So Shona goes by the name of Thistle Fairy Designs. I know she's got a Facebook page. I understand that at least she was on Etsy. I'm not quite sure if she's still there now, but yes, it's definitely worth checking her out. There's, look, even just the wee details. Looks handmade. Oh, handmade hand. This is her card here. And she's very knowledgeable about her product. Obviously Harris tweed comes from the Isle of Harris of the west coast of Scotland, and she was telling me that there is only one person, one weaver on the entire island that weaves rainbow tweed, and they only ever do it once a year. I've never come across the rainbow tweed before, and it's totally me. Diana from Diana King Jewellery, she and I went up to the event together. We sometimes kind of do events together, and she's just fantastic to be around. She's on me pick it up. That's you. Those are your colours, and she is so totally right. So yeah, you need to check these out. These are just fabulous. And I'm not really a sort of bag or project bag or any sort of bag or shoes type girl. This I just had to have, so thank you Shona, I absolutely adore it. That brings us to finished objects. I finished my socks. There are photos on my Facebook page, there are photos on my Twitter of these on. I haven't wet blocked them yet because they wouldn't have been dry to show you, but I am absolutely delighted at how these have turned out. So these are the Stepping Stone socks by Clara Parks. You can see the different sort of rib designs. That's my reinforced heel. I knitted these in Strathern Fleece and Fibre Blue Piece Leicester, and the contrasts heel and toes are done in Woolly Jones merino. That's the details of the contrast, the reinforced heel. And I was right, I just ran out of the BFL just a couple of rows before I knitted the socks. It would have been absolutely fabulous if I could have just gotten to kind of maybe this point before doing the toes. A different colour, but do you know what, these are for me. Excuse me, I don't really care. It was my first time doing crafting using Kitchener stitch, so I'm quite happy with how that's gone. I'm sure again that will relax a little bit just as soon as I wet block them. Yeah, delighted. And I must say, I must have had the cosiest toes in the whole of Perthshire. On Thursday evening when it started snowing really heavily, it was bitter. Here, heating on, layers on, I put on a thin pair of black knee-high socks on, and I had my socks on in a two photos, and I was feeling rather smug. So, Box of Socks Cal as hosted by Kirsten Vine of the Yarngasm podcast. Pair 1. As I said in the last podcast, I doubt I'm going to get all 12 pairs, because it's the whole thing about the Box of Socks Cal is that you knit at least 12 pairs of socks for yourself and put them in a gorgeous box by the 31st of December. But yeah, I don't just purely knit for pleasure, although I enjoy doing it. This is a job. That said, this is what I was working on yesterday when I was up at Aberfeldy in between customers, and I was really busy, so I didn't get a huge amount done, which is absolutely fine by me. That is not a complaint, it's not a criticism, and I just love speaking to all these knitters and natters that are up in that area. Who knew? Who knew they were there? And I've let them know about podcasts. So if you met me there and you're tuning in now, an extra special hello to you. I was talking about my socks when I was there. This is pair 2. I'm doing the same pattern again because I just really enjoyed it, and it fits really well. And I've kind of gone down stash a wee bit, and I've just realised that I've forgotten a couple of the labels to show you what I'm working on, but that's okay because I'll be working on these again next week. So this is West Yorkshire Spinners double knitting. It's BFL again. I'm not quite sure the colour. I want to call it butterscotch, but I'm not quite sure exactly what the colourway is. You can see the details. Oh, the colour's gone a bit funny there. I think the sun's gone behind a cloud. And I'm using Rowan felted tweed in a double knit. I'm not quite sure the colourway. It's a purple, and it's flipped to do. There we go. The colour's changing again to do reinforced heel, just to give it a little bit more of a pop of colour, a bit more of a contrast. As you can see, I've turned the heel. I've done gusset decreases, so I'm just working on the foot now. I was watching Cosiest during the week, and I realised that they call this a fish kiss heel. Never heard of that term before. I just thought it was the traditional sort of sock heel, and there was all these other sort of different ways of doing it. So I have learned something new. Maybe that's an Americanism. This is the inside, the reinforced heel, because I know some of you lovely people like to see all the technical details. So there we go. I'm slightly disappointed. I had a bit of a difficult time picking up the self edge for the stitches, and I think it's just because it's not as tightly wound as Strathern Fleece and Fibre. That said, I didn't think it would give me quite so many difficulties, but it was kind of splitting when I was picking up the stitches, and I had to kind of pull it back once or twice and kind of redo it. And what it's done is it's kind of pulled the stitches over slightly on either side of the heel when I've picked up the self edge. So that is disappointing. I could pull it out, but to do that it would have necessitated taking the heel turn out, taking out the entire heel flap, and this is the most labour intensive part on it, because what you're actually doing with the yarn is you're doing one stitch of each colour and you're carrying it across at the back to do the reinforcement. It could have ended up in all sorts of problems, split yarns and stuff, so this is a live and learn. It's for me anyway, and they are just for wearing in bed and pottering about the house. So whereas I'm a perfectionist knitter, although I'm a process knitter, I love the process of knitting, I am going to have to be kind of just kind of give away my perfectionist tendencies on this, because it's too much to rip back, and I don't think it looks quite so bad. I mean, it could be as soon as I block it that it kind of blooms and it sorts itself out a bit anyway, so we'll see. We'll see, and we'll find out whether the second one kind of does that a wee bit too. So that's on my needles. The other thing that's on my needles, and I did want to ask you guys, because from some of the other podcasts I've been watching, I've noticed the hosts talking about progress keepers, and they're putting progress keepers and little charms and things in the work where they've been the previous week and then showing you what they've done since that point. And I did think about it, and then I don't really like that idea personally. Just with some of the work that I do, I feel like it could catch and things, whether I put it in a project bag or in the box, or I've got cats who are very well trained, they know not to attack my knitting. That's not to say if I don't maybe put it down to go and answer the door or the phone, or to go and stick the kettle on, that I haven't caught Martha in particular just curl up, jump up and curl up in the wool, and she doesn't, very lucky she doesn't put her claws out into it. But I just, you know, there's enough dangers there to my work. So if progress keepers really are something that you want to see in my work, in my podcasts, please do get in touch and let me know. Otherwise I'll just continue as I am and just kind of show you where I am. So this is the brioche that I was doing in the acrylic, the merry-go-round acrylic for the Perth refugee, Perth Syrian refugee appeal. So it's coming on. As I said before, it's quite yarn hungry, so this is it coming on. So we've got a good amount of it sorted, so we just keep going. That's it there. So 2 projects on the needles, and the sock is portable enough to do travel knitting for when Josh and I go to Glasgow. I do enjoy knitting on the train with a nice coffee. So that brings us on to what I've been reading, and I've been reading quite a lot this week, as well as doing a lot of sock knitting. First up, I have finished How to Build a Girl by Caitlin Moran. If you're easily offended, do not read this book. It is very, very rude in places, but the humour is just spot on. I mean, I've had proper laugh out loud moments on this, like on a scale, Jeanette Winterson, oranges are not the only fruit, laugh out loud. And it's kind of that whole sort of comic tragedy sort of thing. So yeah, having been a teenage girl who was very, very into her music, and during those years, I mean, you very rarely saw me as a teenager without a saxophone with me. This is a good read, and it is kind of like aimed, I would have said, at my age group. There's so many sort of past pop cultural references. I mean, I'm 35, so Caitlin Moran is kind of aiming at being a couple of years older than I would be as a teenager at the same time, from early 90s sort of Britpop indie sort of thing. But this is good. This is absolutely brilliant. I have read a bit more of Paulo Coelho, and again, apologies if I'm pronouncing his surname wrong. This is The Witch Portobello. It's good, it's an easy read, but with Paulo Coelho I tend to find that he does the sort of books that you kind of need to dip in and out have a little bit of time for reflection and just absorb what he's saying, because sometimes it can be quite subtle and sometimes you just read it and go, oh, I thought I was the only person that kind of felt like that. Got that. So it's a book that I'm dipping in and out of, and 90 pages through, which is a good chunk. So I shall keep on with that. And I have just started this. This is Karen Alvetigan, and Karen Alvetigan. I'm probably pronouncing her surname wrong as well, and again, apologies. This is missing. As I said on my first podcast, I think it was, I love a good Scandi thriller. And this is the first novel of this author's that I've read. So yeah, this is about a young woman living on the streets who's a nobody, and then she finds herself thrust into the news headlines after a man who's bought her dinner winds up dead. And then another body's found, and Sibylla becomes the prime suspect and is forced on the run from crime she doesn't commit. Very easy read, straight from the beginning, although I have a life completely different from the heroine in this this novel. I just sort of really related to her immediately, which is fantastic. It's such an easy reader, certainly it has been to this point, although there's very cringe-inducing sort of parts, and I can sense that it's going to get very, very dark. It's a very simple reading, 50 pages through. It's a very much, you want to kind of read to the next little bit, very short chapters, find out what's happening next, and she's doing reflections on her childhood as she goes on, so we're going to find out very soon how she's ended up in the situation that she's in, where she's living on the streets, what's caused that. So this is fantastic. I'm looking forward to get this finished this week. Not watching a lot of television at the moment. The NBA playoffs are going on. Some of that, I was about to call them bands, they're not. Some of the teams are starting to go into round 2 of the playoffs. Others are doing game 7. In fact, I think that's what Josh is watching at the minute. I think he's watching game 7 of Pacers versus Raptors. You'd get sick of that, wouldn't you? 7 straight games in a very short time frame against the same players. I would. Anyway, saying that, I can admit the same pattern over and over again, but that's different. It just seems a bit extreme. So the NBA playoffs have been on the TV a lot, and we watched the first ever episode of Absolutely Fabulous, which I think the series has just been put up on Netflix. It wasn't something that I got into on the first time round, and Josh kind of suggested, let's watch this, let's see if it stood the test of time. I still don't get it. It still doesn't do it for me, and a lot of the cultural references are extremely dated now as well. So if it's your thing, go tune in. It's on Netflix. If it's not, just give it a wide berth. Doing lots of listening though. I mean, it's all podcasts. They're really helpful. What I find is that working for yourself, and particularly in the creative industries and such, you can end up very isolated, and I do the majority of my work from home. So you're not really interacting with anyone. It's lovely to be able to talk to you guys, but I tend to find when I've got a knitting podcast on, I don't feel quite so alone. There's almost someone in the room. These are my contemporaries. They know what they're talking about, and it's like those really good office conversations you used to have with, and you just kind of clicked with someone. And I'm not clicking with all the podcasters. Some of them I've watched and I thought, no, it's a bit long-winded. No, that's kind of grating on me a bit, or I don't like the sort of slant that you're taking on that. But I'm giving them a second shot and trying to read the podcast just to see if it's maybe where I've just, that point I've gone in that's kind of set me off kilter or whatever. But I have been listening to the Knitting Broomstick, Arctic Knitting podcast. I've been working my way through sort of past episodes, the ones that I really, really love, and Emilia on the Arctic Knitting podcast is one of those. So you're talking about four back episodes in a week or in quick succession. So the Knitting Broomstick, Arctic Knitting Podcast, Notorious. OMG, I love the girls on Notorious. They haven't done that many episodes. They're both young female teachers, just hilarious. And I love the names that they come up for their segments when they got to the second one. It's really, really well thought out. They're very high energy as well, which I know isn't to everyone's taste, but yeah, I just love it. Love them. I've also watched Geeky Girls Knits, Yarngasm. Christie, oh, Yarngasm. Fabulous. Although I'm not a sewer, I'm not really a big fan of sewing. I can appreciate it, but I think there's going to be like a seasonal kind of like sew along about to happen, so I might kind of skip forward in those segments a bit. And the other thing that I've been listening to, and it's not podcast related at all, are an indie band that I kind of came across, and I think it was a back issue of Shortlist magazine, which are called Blossoms, and they're quite good. So I've listened to a little bit of their stuff on YouTube, and I'll probably go back for another couple of listens before really sort of forming a proper definitive opinion of them. So trying to listen to a bit more music as well as just the podcast, just to break it up a bit. And that brings me to events that are coming up. So Aberfeldy, like I said, was an absolute delight. I've been invited back again, so I'll be back again at the Burke's Cinema in Aberfeldy as part of the Arts and Crafts Market, and the Farmers Market's happening too in the same day, so it's got fantastic atmosphere going on, and it's all situated very close to one another. I'll be there the 5th of June between 10 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon. I have put in an order with Little Boo Yarns, so I'm hoping to have lots of lovely new 4-ply sock yarns for you all to buy as well. The Simpler Street and Gorilla Mittens kits, I'm completely sold out at the minute as well, so I'll prepare some more of those. And it doesn't affect me as such, it affects some of my suppliers, it affects some of my watchers and fans. I'd already made the decision that it was too of an expensive event to do, but the Highland Wool Textiles, or Highland Knitting and Textiles event that was scheduled to take place in Pitlochry at Atholl Palace Hotel this coming Saturday, which is the 7th of May, has been cancelled by the organisers. So I'm just putting it out there. I've already shared it all over social media, and the vendors have been contacted, and it is very, very disappointing. It's been just an accidental oversight on behalf of the organisers. Unfortunately, they've been unable to reach an agreement with the council, where they've been unable to step in and help grant the licence that's required. But I really, absolutely, I mean, obviously I feel for your everyday kind of crafters that wanted to go and take part and replenish their stocks. I feel extremely upset for the small business owners and dyers like myself that are going to this event, that have possibly already booked accommodation, the workshops that were put together, and all the materials that have been printed up have been bought in for that. I think there was a Dorset button making workshop, the one that immediately comes to mind. Gone Crafts, whose gorgeous yarns that I stock, they've been badly hit. I mean, these guys botanically dye their stuff. They grow the flowers in their garden and their croft. They bring them into the kitchen and they botanically dye them. And a lot of prep goes in ahead of these, and scheduling them into the diary and hoping that you've got the decent weather. And with the snow happening, most people are going to have additional energy costs to try and dry it out in their homes before this, and they've had to buy it in. It's so labour intensive, and they rely on going around to these events and such, and they'll have been left with all this additional stock. So it's very, very sad news to be cancelled with only a week to go, and there's a lot of sympathy going on within the community. So if you weren't aware of that already, unfortunately that's the case. If you live locally in Perth and you're needing yarn instead, please contact me. Like I say, I do stocks and Gone Crafts and other independent dyers and such, and just replenishing some of my own stocks at this point. If you're a member of the East Central Scotland Guild Spinners, Weavers and Dyers, let me know, I can get it to you. Aberfeldy I'm going to be totally replenished by next week. So yeah, please get in touch, because there isn't really anywhere in our local area that does these sorts of things. It's very difficult to get hold of, and if you do buy it online from some of these folk, you've got postage charges to add on as well. So just a wee reminder that I am here with my kits and my wools and my ready to wear items. That is my bread and butter. So yeah, small independent creative businesses like mine really, and like the other guys too, they really do rely on your support. So please like us, share us, follow us, talk about us, let folk know about us, because it is so important. And all that really remains for me to say at this point, I don't really want to go out in the downer, let's cheer up a wee bit, is to say, you know, have a fantastic May Day holiday, all those of you in the UK. Worldwide, have a fantastic 2nd of May. Hope the weather's better where you are than it has been here this week. We'll be back in touch in about another week's time. We will not be filming from here, I'll be filming from a top secret location. So more about that later on. So please do tune in. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and if you're enjoying what you like, get in touch. Happy knitting, happy crocheting, happy fibre crafting, just happy folks. And I will see you again. Bye.